Yeah, we're gonna retreat. That's the good call. You are going to ult me? You are. You have wasted your ult, though. There, Knight. Hello, everyone. This is your host, Professor Reha, here with the Khepri support Joust guide. Now, I started this just slightly early because I wanted to go into a couple of things. This will be my first Joust in a shoeless, bootless meta. So I haven't actually, this will be my first Joust without shoes or boots. So what I'm expecting is that this will be a much shorter experience, because Joust was already a pretty fast mode beforehand. A lot of matches end by the 15-20 minute mark, if not earlier. I've seen matches definitely end as early as 10 minutes without even necessarily surrender being used. So that's not necessarily itself unusual, so that does happen. But that was with shoes and boots. Now that we don't have shoes and boots, I am expecting an even faster game, because everyone's going to reach critical mass so much faster. So that is my personal expectation with this. Alright, so we're going to be robots? Okay, we can be robots. I'm hoping for an assassin. I don't normally advocate for the use of assassins in such a role. Well, even then, the Hunter-Assassin combo might not necessarily be that effective, but it would be to Khepri's advantage. Baron SMITE, I believe it is pronounced, actually. Baron SMITE? I'll use their pronunciation, Baron SMITE. But, yeah. Good setup here, good setup. Now let's see what the enemy team has. One of these years. One of these decades. One of these millennia. Oh, we're switching skins? Ice? Okay, we can do ice. I can match you. Don't think I can't. I'll do it again. The Morgan, Medusa, Thanatos. Okay, the Thanatos is a potential issue, especially combined with the Morgan. However, you will notice that they do not have a legitimate tank, so this could be very bad for them. They're basically going to have to all or nothing this, and if they lose a sufficient number of fights, they're going to have an extremely bad time. That could get very deeply unpleasant. Alright, let's see what we do here. So, we're going to want Sentinel's Gift. Relic, I already know, is going to want to be Meditation Cloak to counter Thanatos. Physical, primarily, we're going to go with Sovereignty very early on. Yeah, we don't really have time to waste with Thanatos on the board. We're going to just rush to Sov. So that way we can reduce at least majority, at least have some reduction there of physical damage. I don't know what happened to my speech. Good play, good thinking. Alright. Make sure you don't accidentally pick that up. It's very important that you don't accidentally pick that up. Alright. Good. That's hers. Put this here in case they try a flank later on in the future. Okay. Good. Good. Alright, we've got him on the defensive, which is kind of where we want him, so that works. Alright, so far so good. He was close. And let's see. Okay. Alright, good. Hi there. Good. Good shot. That puts Thanatos back. Puts him back. Good. Yeah, don't give him the chance to rest. Don't give him the chance to rest. A couple of shots doesn't really bother me. Not in a position yet where I necessarily need meditation. Alright, so Thanatos isn't actually planning on going back. Alright. I walked into that one, and I did not need to. play the long game. They'll probably spike in aggression the instant they hit level 5. Thanatos is missing, so this is a good chance for us to catch up a little, well, to get ahead a little bit in team experience overall versus Thanatos. Okay, that was beads. That was beads. Heal up, that was good. Okay, yeah. He's dead. Or not. Nope, he's not dead. He had to retreat, though. You have to use it for retreat, which is hugely important. That means for the next minute and a half, we are completely safe. Nice. Alright. I would normally take this opportunity to do something more technically useful, but right now we'll just grab the speed buff for some experience and gold. Alright, good. I'm going to go back through this way because we have that warded off. Maybe I can get a nice sneak attack. I have my ult up and I know Thanatos' ult is down, so I'm not that concerned about my health in that way. Okay. There we go. Very nice. Yeah, we gotta focus out Thanatos. We let Thanatos get huge, it's over. Okay, I'm gonna fall back at this point because at this particular junction I have enough for sovereignty and I really need mana. Alright. They probably will have some self-healing. The Morrigan can copy Thanatos's. Thanatos obviously does. The Morrigan has lifesteal anyways. Medusa has lifesteal. So Pestilence is going to be a really great pickup. And then after that, I'll have to see if Medusa's building crits. I doubt she will be because crits are very unpopular right at this moment. But, they're wasting their time. Nice shot, nice shot. Nice. Nice. Oh, this is fantastic. I caught her dash, I caught her dash. I did not mean to kill her. Just go for it. Go ahead, stun me. Where did you go? There you are. Well, now we're fine. Interesting. Body blocks. I just didn't want him to get hit by the Death Scythe. If he had, that probably would have spelled potential disaster because I didn't have enough mana for a res. But the ult being down again is hugely important for us here. That was a pretty major error on Thanatos' part. That was a complete waste of the ult. There was absolutely no reason for that. I'm just going to stab to make sure that Medusa doesn't die. I have my ult, I have the mana for this, so I'm not really that concerned about that particular portion of the deal. Alright, good. Ah, so close. So close. Well, somebody is back, so I'm going to go back for mana. They're not up, so I have the time to do so. They're each going for damage camps. Let's see which one Thanatos goes for. Neither of them. Interesting. Very nice. Excellent. Spicy. Yeah, we're gonna retreat. That's the good call. You are going to ult me? You are. You have wasted your ult, though. They're not even following me. He's not even following me. Absolute nonsense. Alright. And, bring it on. Oh, you're actually feeling even aggressive. Alright, let me med this really quick. I somehow caught up with that. Alright. They backed. Yeah, they're not there anymore. We can hold further minions for a hot second. There we go. I don't really care about the damage there. Nope. You now die. That was really nice. There you go. Oh, I was stuck on Baron Samedi. I couldn't see because of my ult. Way too shiny of an ult. I don't think we have enough minions or health to be able to do anything else. I think that's a bad idea to make the attempt. The Thanatos is back up, and we're not exactly great on health, especially Medusa there. So I don't want to take that risk at this time. No crits. Alright. So, how do I want to play this? I think my best option... Midgardian Male, I think, would be my best option. In an unusual twist of events. Normally I'd go for Witchblade, but at this particular point in time, I don't necessarily think that's going to be necessary. If they do hit me with auto attacks, which they will when I've grabbed them, then Midgardian Male will trigger in those situations. And if they, you know, just run, Witchblade will be useless. I get a lot more health out of this, which I need against Thanatos specifically. So, just make sure that I have more health to work with before I fall under the threshold. So that's my main motivation there. You have done goofed. I wasn't even sure that was the real you, but there you are. Confirming the whole story. Alright. If you're going to run at somebody as the Morrigan, don't attack them with an ability. Nice. Heal everyone up, heal everyone up.
Okay, you're gonna need to calm down.
You wasted your opportunity. They had an opportunity. They absolutely had an opportunity. Could have killed me. They straight up could have. Yes. Oh, not that one though. Oh, hello. Nope, you have done goofed. No, we're good. That's right. Go ahead. Hit me. Nice. Nice. That was beautiful. I'm gonna get killed. We gotta get out of here. Burn somebody, please. We're doing so well. We haven't lost a single soul. Don't die. I'm gonna go make sure Medusa's fine. Medusa's fine. Okay. That's right. Get out of here. I just want to make sure that she didn't steal the damage camp from you. That's all I cared about. Oh, wait. Hold on. There's a free mana buff over here. Nice. I'll take that. I could really use that. Oh. Nice. Yeah. Alright. So what actually happened there? Well, it should be fairly obvious what happened there. Number one, they did not have a proper front line. See, the thing is, with Joust, with so few people, crowd control actually is such an absolute, hugely important factor to consider in Joust. Because you could even see where all I had to do was grab any one of them, and Baron Samedi and Medusa would be all over that person. This is why it's so important to have a hunter in Joust, at the very least. A hunter and somebody with great crowd control. Because all it really takes to win a Joust fight is for the individual with crowd control, ideally a guardian, goes in, grabs some individual target, and the hunter slaps them down. Now, Khepri is really good for this. Khepri is really good at singling out one individual target. That's one of his strengths, but countered by this, I apologize, I just somehow kneecapped my microphone. But anyways, the problem with Khepri is that he doesn't have a whole lot of AoE crowd control like Sylvanas or Geb. Be that as it may, Khepri's specialization is in single target selection, so it is in Joust where Khepri is at one of his best moments. Arena is also fairly interesting for Khepri, and Khepri also plays quite well in Clash for the passive reason. But in Joust, it's his ability to abduct a single target and practically guarantee they die that really makes him valuable in Joust. And I was able to really leverage that here because they had almost no way of dealing with that as long as I was able to get Thanatos killed. There were two reasons why Thanatos was a big threat in this particular match. One is that Thanatos was one of the only two methods by which an abduction could be interrupted. The other one was Morgan's stun. The second is, of course, Thanatos' execution punches through my res. So it became very important to single out Thanatos, which is fairly easy because Thanatos has no escape, so even a simple route is all I really need to ensure a proper abduction. Furthermore, Thanatos was their only front line, so as much of an advantage as Thanatos theoretically has against Khepri, as the only front line present, this gives me free reign to basically grab Thanatos, drag him to the front lines, and get him killed. And that is exactly what my allies took advantage of. They played it absolutely perfectly. I'm fairly confident they too realized the great danger Thanatos could potentially pose to the team. So the prioritization of Thanatos was, it seemed to me, at least the way the other two played, and thank goodness for this, is that there was some kind of unspoken acknowledgement of the fact that Thanatos was a big threat if we let him get huge. So we stomped him down. And Baron Samedi plays really well as well with Khepri because he also does pretty impressive single target damage even as a mage. His heal is about the only thing that could be considered effectively AoE beyond a danger noodle on someone with the highest of intoxication or whatever that his passive is called. So, because, you hit the beams right square, if you hit the target with both beams, that's extra damage. The ult is a single target. So, Baron Samedi and Medusa were absolutely perfect for this, and Medusa's ult was a really excellent counterbalance to Khepri's lack of a AoE crowd control, because Medusa has an AoE crowd control, so whenever we needed one, Medusa had it. Another excellent hunter that would have worked here could potentially have been Artemis, who's got, of course, Bacon, who makes for amazing AoE crowd control. And they really didn't have anything to match. Yes, they had a Medusa as well, but otherwise, for the purposes of singling out an individual target and killing them, they had the Morgan's stun, which is pretty easy to dodge. It's a triangular-shaped area of effect, and it's a very small triangle, so it's pretty easy to dodge the Illuminati on that one. And Thanatos, of course, only has the silence out of the sweep, the stun silence, and the ult, and a slow, and that's about it. There's not a whole lot of crowd control going on their team. So once we eliminated their front line of Thanatos, which was very easy for me to grab him out and get him killed, it was simply a matter of making sure that I could get close enough to the rest of the team to actually eliminate them. Now, what surprised me was Medusa's extreme aggression. As long as the Medusa had stayed away and played back, I would have had a much harder time getting her. But she played much more forward. This is partially because Medusa is a slightly more aggressive hunter than normal. Her AoE, her wave clear ability, the Acid Spit, is a bit shorter range than her actual auto attacks, so she does tend to get a little bit closer. Also, her dash has anti-heal attached to it and hits twice, which is very it's 2 or 3 times. I can't remember if they updated that, but it's very effective for a lot of situations. So that causes a lot of Medusa players to play her pretty aggressively for a hunter, which is understandable. But in this particular situation, with such a soft front line in the form of a non-tanky assassin, that was a risk. Furthermore, I could also do the same to the Morrigan that I could do to Thanatos. The Morrigan has no escape unless she uses her ult to shift into Medusa and dashes out. That was really her only method of being able to escape me, because the rest of the time, if she transformed into anyone else except myself, or she just didn't transform at all, I could root her and then abduct her. It just is that easy. Their team comp, while not necessarily bad from a role perspective, a mage, a hunter, and assassin can work. The problem here is that the actual individual mage and assassins, the choice of mage and assassin really hurt them because of, first off, the presence of Khepri. Regardless of the fact that I was playing it, that doesn't matter. Khepri alone was a really strong choice here. And of course, with no one knowing what the other side is picking, that's purely accidental. Baron Samedi has a similar thing going on here. We have a slow to root in the Danger Noodle, and the ultimate, of course, pulls them in and does large amounts of damage, so Baron Samedi also had a really easy time pinning down an individual target in ways that they couldn't match. Again, the Morrigan stun is a melee range triangle shape. Baron Samedi's, while it doesn't have that much of an AoE area, it is just single target pinpoint accuracy, it is ranged. So that's really what it comes down to here. That was the main issue. I was very fortunate to have a hunter and a mage that could do the damage I needed them to do when I abducted a target. And this is really what you want to see as a support. This is the dream scenario. If you are new to support, and you want to play a nice classic support game and warm up and figure out the role, Joust is a really great place to start, because with only a 3-on-3, it is much easier to manage and maintain crowd controls, timings, etc. And if you're playing with friends, it's even better because you can actually have discussions with your friends. Hey, this mage works really well with this support in my experience, etc., etc. Now I'm playing with randoms here, but then I'm also very experienced with Khepri, as indicated by the diamond. But if you're new to supports, grab a friend or two and play some Joust with your friends. Figure out the support role. I accidentally got 3 kills. I did not intend to get those 3 kills. I did not want those 3 kills. Khepri is not one of the supports that can actually turn around and utilize a level advantage that effectively. A lot of Khepri's strength is in just the passive effects of his abilities, from Abduct's Silence and Stun and the Dragging Back, the ult, the passive that Khepri has, the damage mitigation / physical protection reduction of Rise of Dawn, or the root. Khepri doesn't hit very hard, and doesn't need to, frankly. But that's ultimately what happened here. The builds themselves weren't anything particular to write home about, although I will make the comment that Medusa building chin size first was probably not a great idea, because it was immediately recognizable that, hey, my allies, Morrigan and Thanatos, are going to be really easy to pin down, especially since the Morrigan plays pretty aggressively, again because of that melee stun, and Thanatos is our only frontline and is fairly soft, a very squishy frontline. Maybe I should build something that'll get me to power a little bit earlier, because chin size is very expensive for Hunter. It's 2,700 gold, I believe, which is pretty darn expensive. So I think chin size was not necessarily a great opening item to go for. Aussie would have been a much better choice. Get some lifesteal in there, get some early 15 flat penetration, really be able to blast through Baron Samedi and Medusa's base protections, which would have been fantastic. Thanatos went for Transcendence. Now, I understand that Transcendence here is built for power, but when you realize that you're the only front line on your team and you're very squishy, why would you build Transcendence? Power isn't going to do you that much good. You have a percentage of health damage output on your Death Scythe, and your ult instantly executes people. Thanatos does not necessarily need a large quantity of power, and certainly not mana from Transcendence. Thanatos almost never has mana problems. So, this did not make sense with Thanatos first off. I understand, again, yes, massive amounts of power. Sure, great, but honestly, only the Death Scythe and the Silencing Scythe, I can't remember the name of it right now, actually utilize power beyond your auto attacks. And Death Scythe, like I said, does extra bonus damage based on a percentage of the opponent's health, of their maximum health, so it doesn't need that much power. And of course, Thanatos' second ability just gives them penetration, makes them faster. So Transcendence was not a great move. Even if you yourself, listening or watching this, like Transcendence on Thanatos, which is a perfectly justifiable, I understand that it's about the power, you want to hit as hard as possible. I can understand that, even if I disagree with it. But when you realize that you're the only front line for your team, and that the enemy has a Khepri who can lock you down and single you out very quickly, why would you not build at least something, at least hybrid? Something like Void Shield, or maybe something a little bit more dedicated to defense like Sovereignty, or heck, Breastplate of Valor. Just going into Transcendence in this situation, with this scenario, was a terrible idea. Kind of the same thing with Hydrus Lament, you're just doubling down on a mistake here, that the Thanatos needed protections. The Thanatos needed to be more defensive, because Khepri and Thanatos sort of counter each other. Now, Khepri has a harder time with Thanatos in 5v5s, because it's a little bit harder to focus out the Thanatos. There are more enemies around to interrupt the abduct should it happen, but in Joust, the only interruption I had to worry about was the Morrigan. And as long as I knew where she was, that wasn't going to be an issue. So, with that being said, that's really what happened here. Not really a whole lot to say about the builds. Just a shout out here to Dominance. Personally, I prefer Titan's Bane. Now, having tested it, the 20% physical penetration on Titan's Bane is a little bit more valuable. I understand Dominance gives you 50 more power and some mana and stuff, but unless you're building Transcendence, Titan's Bane's 20% penetration and an extra 20% on your abilities is just more worthwhile. So, with that being said, thank you all very much for joining me. If you liked this, please like and subscribe. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, ideas, what have you, please leave them down in the comment section below. I love to read them. And have a great 24 hours.